Thanks so much for joining us today on Feelin' Good, sponsored by Warren County Community Services. Well, as you can see, we're not in the studio today. Luckily, we picked a day to be here in Harmon Park in Lebanon, Ohio, by the tennis courts. And we decided that we would travel outside for one of our events this year. And it's even better that we're outside today because I would like to introduce to you our guest,
Hi.
Brianna Higgins. And Brianna is a nutritionist and fitness specialist with the Warren County Health Department. And it was kind of another small world conversation that we were connected a few weeks ago. I remember Brianna when she was probably 3 years old, and we went to church together, the same church here in Lebanon. So clearly, she was a darling little girl then, and she is a lovely young woman now.
Thank
so
you.
I'm delighted that she is our guest today. Today we thought we would talk about the importance of nutrition and just fitness in general for especially our current situation where we've got, some quarantine, probably weariness, and how important it is for us physically, emotionally, socially to remain active. And today I'd like to first start off by asking Brianna a little bit about her background, and then she's actually going to show us some working out types of tips that we could start on today. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
Sure.
been really awesome. Well, Shelly and I are actually connected another way. We are both former Miami University grads of Ohio.
Yes, we are.
We know a couple of the same people there, but that's where I did my undergraduate and master's studies. My undergraduate was actually in nutrition, and then I did a 1.5 year master's program. Since I am a dietitian, I had to go through a very extensive internship process and take an exam, and glad to get all that over with. My previous position was actually as a dietitian at a gym and as a personal trainer. And I just happened to transition right before all this COVID hit.
Right.
So working at the health department has been definitely challenging with the different COVID stipulations going into place, but it's been really rewarding so far. I have gotten a couple opportunities to get out in the community like today, and that's really my favorite thing, is just being involved with the community and being a face of wellness for people.
Right, very good. Well, we're so delighted to see the younger generations being able to interact with clearly an older generation, but we feel young.
That's
so
awesome.
We like to remain active. And with that being said, I even suggested the tennis courts because this is where I play tennis with my tennis group, and I am not the oldest person in my tennis group, just let me say that. So, when you remain active with lifelong sports such as tennis, and I play golf, and I think that you see just how vital the fitness is for the mind, the body, and the spirit. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. You probably heard the saying, if you don't move it, you lose it. And I think as people transition out of the sports world, if they played sports in high school or college, they lose that community and motivation to stay fit and stay active. So finding some sort of community like you did, or friends that want to be active in a similar interest, is really important. And that's why I really took an interest in group fitness in my past.
very good. So you work with, we were chatting earlier, you were just getting ready to work with the schools.
Yes, so I did
Okay.
I was able to do some nutrition education with Lebanon High School as well as the Carlisle School District.
Okay.
But I was even doing some food demos, some homemade Chipotle bowls. We were having a really good time. It definitely stinks that the school year got canceled last year, but hopefully this will subside eventually and I'll be able to get back in the schools.
Good, good. Well, where would you like to start in terms of, I brought 2 folding chairs today specifically because we talked about, I know there's chair yoga and other chair workouts and so on and so forth. In fact, just today, I think I shared it with you on my Facebook, the ARP website shared chair yoga as one of the highlighted topics. And so I really have not done that much with chair exercise and chair yoga. So maybe you can kind of run us through some.
I am going to take you through some chair exercises
Okay.
today. It's going to be, we will do some stretching, but it's going to be more of a strength-based training. Most people should be doing at least 3 days a week of full body strength training. A total of 150 minutes of exercise a day.
Okay.
That's a great way to stay fit and prevent cardiovascular disease, which we know is the #1 killer in the U.S. So yes, I'll be taking you through a lot of strength training today. As we age, we tend to lose muscle. I'm going to get into kind of the nutrition components of that as well. But by building it up and continuing to build muscle, our joints are healthier and our activities of daily living are improved, such as bending over to pick up your grandkids' toys or being able to get up and out of a chair or a toilet.
Right.
These are things that we take for granted that we don't realize we can lose our strength and ability to do that.
Right. Well, and even I know I kept sending you emails today because it seemed like I was receiving them on my feed on my phone. There was discussion about fitness affecting your brain activity and your memory as well.
Absolutely, it's going to have an effect on your brain, your cognitive ability, your memory, a lot of emotional and mental health as well, as far as self-esteem and feeling good about yourself, feeling accomplished. It's multifaceted.
Okay, very good. Well, what would be, stretching, I suppose, would always be the first stage.
So we are actually going to start, there's a few types of stretching.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about static versus dynamic stretching. So static stretching are more of those holds.
Okay.
Recent research is showing that should usually be saved for after a workout.
Okay.
You want to go into your workout warmed up. So doing stretches that are dynamic, where you're moving around a lot, are actually more beneficial. So I'm going to actually take us through some of those. So we're going to sit up nice and tall in the chair, and we're just going to start off with a little bit of a march. Okay, so our core's engaged. We're drawing that navel up toward the chest, pulling those shoulders back. So a warm-up, dynamic warm-up, should take about 5 to 10 minutes. I recommend a little close to that 10-minute side if you are not in the habit of exercising regularly. Okay, so we're going to get those muscles warmed up. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and reach across. So this is just a slight twist at the waist, keeping the shoulders back. Our belly button should still stay relatively facing forward. Okay, good. Big push, get those arms engaged. Feel a little bit of tricep work there as well. Core work.
This is what I need.
Good.
When my grandkids comment on my arms, they sometimes say, "Grandma, you have grandma arms." And I say, "I guess I need to do a little more upper body work."
Well, we'll tone the grandma arms. You're nice and tan though, which is good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna reach over now. So still keeping that chest up. Okay, feet are maybe a little wider than hip width apart here. Good. So we're really getting that upper body right now. All right, let's do 4 more per side. Good. 3, 2, and last one. All right, we're gonna go into some leg extensions now, working those quadriceps. We're still keeping that core engaged, shoulders back. So a lot of people tend to ignore lower body actually when they're working out. And the reason why I always recommend incorporating some sort of lower body is because those are our main movers. We have larger muscles in our lower body. So when we work our lower body, we're actually burning more calories. So for any of you that have the goal to lose weight or maintain weight, lower body's a key factor in doing that. All right, awesome. Okay, we're gonna go into the calves now, working our way down. So you were just gonna lift those heels up. Good. So I'll turn to the side to show you here. I'm just lifting my heels off, keeping the balls of the feet in contact with the floor. All right. Excellent work.
Now I notice your arms are up like this. Is that just
I think that's just me.
natural? Okay.
Just natural. You can keep them on your hips too.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a
good question. And if we want, we can actually come into some lateral raises while we're doing this. We're going to do that. We're going to do these with weights here soon. So grab a light set of dumbbells if you have them. I'll say that now. Good. Why don't we go into some arm circles? Good.
I had some dumbbells at home and I thought I'm doing well to bring just the chairs and get it together. So I thought.
And reverse directions.
But I do have a set of dumbbells at home. So I will use those. But if you don't have dumbbells, you can use, now what is the weight of your dumbbells?
Mine are 3. So we could do anywhere from 1 to 5 maybe. If we're feeling extra ambitious, I wouldn't do more than 10.
But you could use like books, or you could use, I don't know,
you
bottled
could
water.
Use books, bottled water, cans. Those all work too.
Okay.
Any sort of ankle weights or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so any knee or major issues with that lower body, I'm going to have you stay here in these leg extensions. All right? Now, if we're comfortable, I talked about ability to get in and out of a chair. So we're going to test that today a couple times.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to keep our weight predominantly in our heels. Feet are going to be about hip width apart. That navel comes up, the shoulders come back. We're going to drive off of our heels and stand up. Good. And then we're going to sit back down. Good. Making sure that we're keeping that chest up as we take it down. Good. Try to stay in the heels even as we sit down. Our knees should be tracking toward our pinky toes. Okay. We want to make sure that we are engaging that outer thigh. We could cause a lot of knee pain by engaging too much and squeezing our legs in. Ladies are taught to cross their legs and that it's proper, but it's actually not so great for the knees. Okay, we inhale down and exhale up. We're always exhaling on the exertion or the hard part of the exercise. Really squeeze those glutes at the top. I know we're doing a lot. Let's do 2 more and we'll stay standing. Good. Last one. So great job. That exercise could have also been performed holding weights in hand. Either here, or you could just have one holding here.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to engage into the legs a little bit more. Everybody should be able to stand up now. Okay? So we're going to stand up nice and tall. Feet are hip width apart. We're going to go into a hip abduction. Good. Taking that leg out, keeping the hips square and facing forward. Good. Really feel those glutes. Squeeze. Good.
Hopefully Joe is focused on Brianna doing this.
He's joining us.
Joe's doing it.
What a multitasker.
Good.
Let's do 2 more. And last one. All right, we're going to switch into some upper body now, staying on that side. Okay, so if we don't have any weight at all, listen to how I'm cueing this. If you can feel this just by squeezing your muscles together. I'm going to turn so you can see my profile. Okay, so I'm holding on to the chair. All right, I'm slightly angled with the floor. My shoulder blades are pulled back. I'm rowing. I'm keeping that weight even with my chest, and I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. All right, now a common thing I'll see, people bending that wrist. Try to keep the wrist nice and straight in line with the rest of the arm. Our upper backs tend to get very weak if we work any kind of desk jobs or sit a lot. So this is a really important area to work. Staying long and tall through the spine. We're going to do 3 more. 3. Great job. 2. And 1. Good. All right. Let's put our weight down for a minute. We're going to come behind our chair now. Okay, still standing up tall. We are going to go into those calf raises again. So I'm going to turn so you can see raising onto those heels. Now, common things I'll see with our calf raises. People will lock their knees and not engage their glutes. Really focus on keeping a slight bend of the knees and squeezing those glutes together. Good. We're getting both sides here. Awesome. We'll do 4 more. Good. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to work into the shins now. So keeping our heels on the ground and lifting our toes. We're still keeping those knees slightly bent. I see a lot of what I call booty popping usually when I see people do this. So really squeeze those glutes. You will feel this. Good. Okay, we're going to alternate. You're going to feel this a lot. So you're going to alternate, pitter patter your feet. I'll show you from a front view. Okay, kind of kicking, kicking, kicking. Good. Don't you feel that burn?
Yes.
Woo! 4, make sure we're breathing. 3, 2, and 1. Good, let's face center. Take a big inhale. And exhale. Let's grab a drink really quick. Drink break. I left my water in the car, but we should always be staying hydrated when we're working out.
I was thinking about that the other day. I played golf the other day, and I made sure that I had my iced tea with me, you know, and it's amazing how much of your muscles are depend on the amount of fluid intake, right?
Yes, so your performance decreases a significant percentage for every 1% you're dehydrated. I think it's about 12% reduction in performance for every 1% you're dehydrated. So we're already past that 1% if we're experiencing thirst. So need to be really careful about that. We're going to work into the lower back and core now. This is really good for us. I'm going to turn again. Okay, I'm going to show you option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is going to be a little bit more for that beginner level, slight bend in the elbows. We're keeping our feet in line with our hip. Opposite arm, opposite leg. This is what we call a bird dog, okay? So this is in yoga. It's usually performed on the ground on all 4s, but we're doing it in a chair today. Option 2.
Probably just as well.
Option 2, we can come to the chair and perform it. Okay, this chair's a little bit lower, so it's not as comfortable.
Okay.
But we'll do about 4 more each side. Get everybody caught up here who's viewing and trying to join us. You all better not be watching on the couch now. Okay, 2 more. Good, and last one. All right, let's match up that other side. Okay, we're going to get that hip abduction.
Okay, you have room?
Yep, do you? You good? Good. Got to communicate here. We're neighbors. Got to keep that spacing. Good.
And the reason I have my fanny pack on today is so I can hold the microphone on the clip in the back. So that's would not necessarily be my chosen workout garb.
All right, give me 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. Let's grab that dumbbell and row on that other side. So remember, we're angled with the floor, chest faces the floor. We don't have to be all the way down here, but we do want to be slightly angled. Okay, remember that wrist is straight and in line with the rest of that arm. We're pulling those shoulder blades back and act like we're squeezing an orange between our shoulder blades. Make an orange juice, okay? Exhaling up, inhaling down. Great work. 4 more. 3. Great job. 2. And 1. All right, everybody, feel free to grab a drink, take another breather. We are going to come seated now. So I do want to say we are going through kind of a quick rundown of these exercises. We usually want to be completing these exercises about 10 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 different times, okay?
Okay.
So the repetition of the exercise is really going to allow for us to experience that exertion and the work that our muscles need. Okay, so this is one. If you don't have weights, you're just going to come on in front. We want to come away from the back of the chair. Sit up tall. Okay, this is a lot harder than it looks. We're going to come up nice and tall, elbows up, and we're going into a chest press. Okay, exhale forward, inhale back. Squeeze those shoulder blades on the way back. Great work, everybody. Good. Try to keep those shoulders relaxed. I see a lot of shruggers sometimes. Pull those shoulder blades back and down. Good. We're lifting nice and tall through the spine. Our feet and knees are hip width apart. I watch everything on everybody when I teach my classes. We tend to worry about the upper body, and then we're like, oh, my legs are crossed or my knees are caved in. So make sure everything's pulled apart. Okay.
So would this be good for any age?
I would say so, yes.
Okay.
Okay, 2 more. And last one. Great job. We'll shake that out. Okay. Yep, so all these are good for any age. If that was a little too challenging, you could always go one weight at a time too. We call this kind of a prayer press. You could hold your hands together and come forward, okay? I'm going to show a modified version of this, and then I'll show you a way to make it more challenging as well. So we are going to come out to the side at about 45 degrees. This can be performed with no weights as well. Once again, our knees and our feet are about hip width apart. Our shoulders are pulled back. So older population, sometimes doing any overhead movements can be extra challenging. Okay, sometimes unsafe for people. Kyphosis is a very common thing in the older population, which is a fancy name for hunchback. So for them to be performing overhead movements in that posture can be very dangerous, which is why I'm having us do more of a lateral raise here. Okay, we're pulling those shoulder blades.
So it doesn't even go shoulder high.
Correct.
It just goes,
so this is a modified version, about 45. If you can handle it, you can come up to that full 90 degrees.
Okay.
But that is your call. If we feel any sort of pain, we should feel worked. We should not feel pain.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do 4 more here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very nice. Shake that out. All right, we have time. I'm going to take us through some more. Is that good? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can either set this weight down or leave it in your lap. We're going to keep the elbow nice and tall coming away from the chair. This is going to be a tricep extension. Notice that my hand is supporting my elbow, okay? That's going to provide us some stability for that shoulder. We're exhaling forward and inhaling back. We should feel this right in the triceps. We only really need to come up to that 90-degree angle. So wrist even with that elbow at the top. Good.
This is for the grandma arms.
You are, yeah, I was just going to say. You'll look really toned whenever you're pouring cereal. That's when I notice my tricep fat the most, is when I'm pouring cereal. All right, give me 3 more. 3, good. 2, and 1. Shake that out and we'll get that other side. You may find one side stronger than the other. When that happens, I encourage you to actually try to work your weak side, either add another set or a few more reps if you need to decrease the weight or get rid of the weight. That's okay. Four more. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Are we good? Okay. Ready to move on? Okay. We're almost done, you guys. Our elbows are going to be a solid 1 to 2 inches away from the rib cage. Still sitting up tall. Our palms are facing forward. We're going into a bicep curl, keeping those elbows up nice and high. So I've taken you through almost a full body workout now, and we haven't done a whole lot. Good. So we're exhaling up once again. We're exhaling on the exertion and giving ourselves oxygen, inhaling, as we are in that recovery movement or allowing that muscle to relax. So you can hear my breathing. Good. Excellent. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great work. Okay, we'll keep both weights in hand. We can easily do this without weights as well. We're going to start with one side. Shoulders are back. We're going into a nice little dip here. Okay, keeping those shoulders pulled back. Good. This looks excellent. So we're working the core, okay? A little bit of that side body into the obliques. That's the fancy name for love handles. All right, 3 more.
Got those also.
2. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll go to the other side. Shoulders back, chest up. Our hormones change as we get older. It becomes a lot harder. We can't eat whatever we want and not gain weight. Exercise is a lot harder. Our joints don't move the way they used to. But you are so much better off by continuing to move than by giving up altogether.
Well, I remember participating in Olympics a few years ago when it was at Mason.
4 more.
The tennis was. And my partner and I actually won our
Good.
age,
Last one. That's awesome.
our age group.
Good.
And it's so inspiring to see. I mean, we weren't in the oldest group. There were others that were, you know, participating and had been up into their 80s, and
I
maybe
think it's
even
all what you do with it.
right.
You can let the stereotype and the stigma get to you, or you can defy it.
Right.
I'm hopefully helping you defy it.
Yes.
So once again, knees and feet are shoulder width apart. So crunches. Here's the thing about crunches. We're putting our spine in a flex position. We're like this all day anyway. Whether we're young and texting or whether we're at a computer, we're going to work on spine neutrality, okay? So we're touching that upper back against the chair and then coming only to a neutral position, chest right over hips. Crunches get a lot of attention for being good for the abdominals, but really we want to work on spine neutrality. So things like this, or anyone who's able to get down on the floor and perform any sort of elbow plank or something like that, those are really great exercises that are going to truly work the core in a lot safer and more effective manner. Good, everybody. Okay, keep those feet stuck to the ground. Give me 4 more. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent, everybody. We can put those weights down. Let's take another big, deep breath. Give me a big inhale. And exhale. Good, we're going to stretch now, so feel free to ask me any questions.
How do we know that we are doing exercises properly? Does our body tell us when we're not doing them properly?
That's a great question. So you can't know for sure unless you're an exercise professional, which is why personal training is a great option. I know, financially that can be something hard to do. But I would say, aside from that, having a mirror and watching your form, studying on YouTube the correct form of certain exercises, really watch and listen to the cues I just took you through, and then watch yourself in the mirror and see how you're performing that. Everyone when they're tired isn't going to be as great as when they're fresh, but if you start to feel any sort of low back pain, hip popping, if you're sore more than about 2 days after a workout, that may be a sign that we were doing something that could have been maybe just a little too much for you.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Right. Yes.
Okay,
Very,
good.
very.
I'm going to take us into some stretching now. So we're going to lift one foot up, the foot is flexed, and then we're going to just slightly hinge down. So we should feel a nice stretch in the hamstring. So that leg's straight. Yep, this leg's straight. Yep.
Okay.
So we're feeling that in the hamstring. Good. Keeping a nice neutral spine, shoulders back. I'll turn to the side so you can see me. Okay. It's just a slight stretch here. We're feeling it all in the back of the leg.
Yes.
Okay. We'll hold that. So stretching, we should usually be holding stretches for around 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know that I'll hit right on the mark today. Over there, any other questions you have for me as we switch sides?
I remember we were just talking, you said that you remembered from cheerleading. And I remember from marching. I was a majorette in high school. And I can remember the calves of my muscles kind of cramping after we'd have a game or a parade or something. And this reminds me, our biology teacher always said, just stretch that gastrocnemius. Yes, that muscle by doing this, not pointing your toe, but pushing your heel.
That's very true. Okay, we're going to go into a rhomboid stretch. That's a fancy name for upper back muscles, drawing our navel in, separating our shoulder blades apart. A lot of that could have been due to dehydration as well. Potassium gets the reputation of being the cramp guy, but it can also actually be sodium and salt that are a major thing if you're losing a lot of salt through sweat. We're going to feel this in our biceps, turning our palms up to the ceiling and then turning our thumbs upside down. Okay, so we're working into our biceps now. I can scoot over so you can do it if you want. Good. Very nice. Feel that stretch. Good. We'll take palms up to the ceiling now and bend those elbows. So we're stretching through the tricep at the back of the arm now. Good. We'll take it across. Any other questions you have for me?
I do think it's important to keep breathing while you're doing it.
Yes, definitely make sure you're
while
breathing.
you're exercising, because I think you tend to focus so much that sometimes you forget.
Deep breaths, deep breaths. We talked about exhaling on the exertion, inhaling as you're usually during the lowering portion of an exercise. Go ahead, switch sides. Let's really make sure we're pulling that shoulder down here. With static stretching, I mean, you're holding the movement, so there is no when do I breathe kind of thing. Really nice job. All right, we're going to go into what we call a piriformis stretch. This is a fancy name for outer thigh and glute. So modified, we're going to come out like this. If you can raise it up a little bit, that's okay too. We want to make sure that the knee can stay turned out. We're going to feel a big stretch in our glutes and outer thigh. Okay, we can roll our ankle while we're at it here. So from a nutrition standpoint, I didn't get into that very much today. Definitely do recommend hydrating. We should be getting about, I would say probably about at least 70 ounces of water a day. Okay, men need a little bit more water than women. All right, we'll switch sides. Again, we can come down here or up higher. People who are aging need more, or the older population actually needs more water, and we tend to lose recognition of our thirst mechanisms as we get older. So definitely even more so important to make sure that we're adequately hydrating. Protein is also a huge thing. Make sure you're reading labels, meat, milk, beans are all going to be great sources of protein, eggs. We'll do another deep breath. Big inhale and exhale. So exercise at least 3 times a week. I was talking about protein. We should be trying to make sure that we have protein with every meal and snack. As we age, our protein needs go up due to our muscles not being as strong. We need to keep building those up. Same with bones. Women face risk of osteoporosis. So it's really important, protein with every meal and snack. Again, that could be cheese, milk. We tend to always think meat, and it doesn't necessarily have to be meat. So I definitely recommend, if you have any questions about any of this, I offer free counseling services with the Warren County Health Department. We're on 416 Southeast Street, just next to Harmon Park. I do group classes as well. So please, it doesn't matter whether you live in Warren County or outside of the county. I'd love for you to come see me.
Well, you did mention that you've made a few demos in terms of nutrition demos
Yes.
that are available online. Where would we
Yes.
find those?
So I actually have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So what I will do, I will share that with the two of you,
Okay.
and then maybe you guys could post that.
Okay.
Would that work?
That would be great.
It's much easier to just copy and paste a link instead of remembering all those crazy dots and dashes and numbers.
Okay.
So I'll definitely let you know. But Brianna Higgins would be who you'd look up. Nutrition, I'm sure if you've searched on YouTube, you could find that. But I'll definitely give you guys a definitive link so that you don't get lost in cyberspace.
Okay, very, very good. And any of these exercises, I think it would be kind of fun to introduce to our grandkids and let our grandkids kind of work out with us, because I've heard them say to me, Grandma, that, you know, we do the yoga pose of this or that or the other thing. So I think they've learned it through some of the shows they watch, and I think their mom and dad have shown them, you know, some yoga.
And I'm glad to hear that. I think it's so important right now. I think kids get very fixated on video games and TV and phones, and it's important to just remind them to take a break from all that and move their bodies. And you guys are ultimately their role models, and you're leading them by example. So I think that's great. Definitely get them involved.
Very good. Well, I had told you both, you and Joe, that I was a big proponent of the suffragist centennial, which is celebrated in August of this year, 2020. And due to all of the quarantining and so forth, the parades and different things have really been toned down and postponed till next year. But it's just amazing to me, as I've done the research, that 100 years ago, which would have been my grandmother, your great-grandmother,
Okay.
would only then have had the right to vote. And listen to this, we're not really even supposed to ride bicycles. And that's where bikes and bloomers kind of were developed, because women, if they decided to be so bold as to ride bicycles, had to wear their long skirts.
Right.
They were not supposed to show their ankles.
Right.
And so a woman whose last name was Bloomer developed the idea of a skirt that could be made into a ballooned pant that, and even you could work it so that you could pull a skirt up and have the bloomers underneath to be able to ride a bicycle. So much has changed. I mean, it has been 100 years, and yet to think that was the way life was back when women in our family were growing up, and look where we are now, and all
That's very true. It's an honor to be in the position that I'm in with Warren County. It's an honor to join you and lead you in exercise today. I've had so many great opportunities, and I'm glad that I was a part of this one as well.
Well, very good. Well, it was delightful to reconnect with Brianna today, and we appreciate so much her expertise and her working our core and all the other muscles that we need to keep in shape. We hope that you'll join us and do a little workout yourself. And by all means, we want you to keep feeling good. Bye for now.